This complete. So now the current one more topic is called what are the process to move the database file from one location to another location and how many ways we have to move the database files. Okay, so we are going to discuss this topic. So here moving the database file from one location to another location, that will give the downtime to the customer, that is giving the downtime to the users, that is giving the downtime for the business, and how you are going to follow the process and how can you achieve move the files from one location to another location. So here moving the database files from one location to another location. So let me take one example. Here I have a database called Adi. I will go for production only, so we can go for discuss as a change window. I have a database called Adi Lab. Okay, so sp underscore help DB. I have a database called Adi Lab. So those database physical files are going to E drive and log some files are going to C drive. Here the thing is like I want to move these files from one location to another location. What is the necessity? The necessity I'm going to explain next coming topic like disk full, but the necessity means like somebody kept the database files in the log drive. Suppose like I have a database called Adi Lab. In the Adi Lab, I have two data files. One is MDF, another one is NDF. Unfortunately, somebody keep the Adi Lab database NDF2 in the log disk instead of the data disk. So we discussed right what are the best practices. Database files we need to keep one drive that is dedicated for the user database data files, and the log files we have a dedicated disk, and we have to keep user database transaction log files to that particular log disk. Some scenario somebody kept the data disk data file into the log disk, or maybe the log file kept into the data drive disk. That will give two scenarios, two problems. That will give the disk IOPS issues and as well as some space issue. That scenario we need to move the database files to the accurate as per the best practices. That scenario we need to move the database data files one location to another location. So data files means database files, not MDF and F. Some scenario log files also we have to move one drive to another drive. That is the one scenario. Another scenario like I have a space issue. So currently the log drive is going to E drive. Currently data file is going to C drive, but C drive is full. So real time we are not going to use C drive. That may be kind of a M drive or N drive or any drive except C drive. Why? Because C drive is for operating system and this particular disk is full. Okay, adding the disk is taking a long time. That scenario we have another drive, we have a space. That time we are going to move those files one database, one drive to another drive. So we are going to move immediately? No. If it is production, just we need to inform the users, and we need to inform the business, and we have to move it if it is really critical. But we can hold and we can accommodate for 2-3 hours or maybe one day for that disk space, and we can survive that disk space. That scenario, we have to create the change window for moving the database files from one location to another location. Why? Because while moving the database files one location to another location, we have to keep the database offline, and we have to move it from source drive to target drive. For moving the files, we have different approaches. So we can discuss what are the procedures, but they will ask which scenario we are going to move the files from one location to another location. So generally, we can move the files from one location to another location when we don't have space to the existing drive and there is no room to extend the drive. That scenario, we have to move the files from one location to another location. And other scenario, somebody kept the files wrong disk layout, disk position, or disk folders. Instead of keeping data disk, and they kept into the log disk for the MDF. That scenario, we have to move it as per the best practices. So here, let me go for the things. Let me ask here only. When we are when we need to move the database from no location. It will provide. Yeah. So the common scenario I mentioned like storage migration. So here I kept the E drive. The E drive having they kept HDD disk. Okay, the HDD disk will give the very disk IOPS unlimitations. So we have a disk IOPS issues. That scenario, the Windows team added to the SSD disk. That scenario, we have to move it right. How we are going to move it from E drive to new drive? That is called like a storage migration. Okay, the storage migration, we have a two types. Okay, let me go for one scenario one by one. Storage migration. So currently database having data files that is having very less performance. Why? Because those were attached as a HDD disk, so less IOPS. So we need to move HDD disk. Why? Because there is no option to upgrade the SSD to HDD. So that is the reason Windows team what they will do, they will attach any drive. Like any drive means like they will attach the same storage, but they will give the drive letter like H. So once they attach it to the H drive, how we are going to move it? So here, two things. From moving the E drive to H drive, what the real time, we have two scenarios. One is detach and attach it to the files to the H drive, or maybe alter the database files using system catalog and move the files. That is for the traditional method. But here the Windows team added to the same storage with same same storage with different letters. What we are going to do? Just bring offline the database. We need to keep the database offline. Then come to the E drive, copy the all the files from E drive to H drive, maintaining same folder structure. So here we need to copy entire data to H drive. Then we have to, while copying, before copying, we need to bring the offline databases. Then we have to go for copy the entire files from E drive to H drive, maintaining the same structure. Then give full access to the newly copied files to the H drive. Then go for disk swapping. Rename E drive to any like M. Then rename the H to E drive. Then bring the database online. This scenario we are going to do entire E drive is entire E drive files are copying to H drive. That scenario we are going to disk swapping. Okay, but if you want to move any specific one database, not for the entire database, that scenario disk swapping, it won't work. Why? Because if you go like that, the database will go to inaccess state. So this is a scenario real time. If you want to move the entire database files from one drive to another drive and go for the disk swapping, that time only we have to go for this approach. But here we are going to discussing called like how to move the database, one database file. How we are going to move it? So just giving like a, okay, this is different story. They are telling space issue. As I mentioned, E driving having only 5 GB. So there is no space to keep for further upcoming transaction. That scenario, I have to move the database files from one drive to another drive. Or maybe, as I mentioned, some people kept the data files instead of keeping to the as per the package price, they kept all files in the one drive. So what are the ways we have? These things I will go for real time scenario. I will explain one more tip once the topic is completed. So, what are the ways to move the database files? One is alter the system catalog, detach and attach, backup and restore. And we have other scenario like take the script out and import and export. Okay, import and export. But generally, we'll go for like this any one of the three approaches: alter the system catalog, detach and attach, and backup and restore. So, alter the system catalog, it's a traditional approach, but it's a high risky. So, while doing the alter system catalog, we have to put more concentration and we have to do alter the system catalog. Detach, attach, it's very easy. But while detaching, attaching, we have to look for the some prerequisites like new location, we have sufficient permissions and sufficient free space. The backup and restore. This also we can go for move the database files from one location to another location. But if this scenario will go to very rarely. Why? Because it will take some extra time. Why? Because first we have to take the backup and we have to move the files. While restoring, we have to provide the different locations. So now we are going to discuss about the moving the files one location to another location. This is the our actual topic to discuss, but in between I explained this scenario. So this scenario we can take as a whenever we get a performance issue for disk IVAPs, that scenario how going to replace the drive and how we are going to move the database files from with minimal downtime. So that scenario we are going to discuss this topic. But as per our topic, how can you move the database files from one location to another location? So we are going to discuss these three topics. Let me go for alter system catalog. So before moving the system catalog, what we need to do? So we need to create a change window. We need to create a change window. In that, we have to provide the some downtime to the users. Why? Because in the system catalog procedure, we need to update the some system catalog using alter commands. After that, we have to keep the database offline. Then we have to go for move the files from source location to target location. Then we have to bring the database offline. That time the database won't available to the business or users. So that is the reason this activity we need to create a change window so that the people will aware this database is not available this particular time period. So this change window we can discuss like what are the change window we have, like types we have. One is standard, one is emergency change window. But in the change window, like we have to inform the users and we have to send the communications. We have to discuss in the CAP, like change control board. We have to discuss and we have to provide the business justification. And once we get the approval, we have to move it in that particular change window. That is the one thing. But before moving it, we need to get some prerequisites. Why? Because we need to collect that particular database, how many files we have and which file we are going to move it, what are the logical file names we have, what are the physical file names we have, and the target location, the target disk, do you have sufficient free space? Why? Because while moving source to target, the target must have sufficient free space to keep those files. We have to collect all this information in the actual change window. We are going to implement the below steps. Okay. So let me go for prerequisites. So how can we get the database data files? Using, if you type, so here I want to move Adilab database log file to another drive. Okay, I have three files, but in that I'm going to move one log file to the another drive, that to the specific drive. Suppose like I'm going to create here. I'm going to create a drive like this. You can consider like this is a drive. Yeah. Drive. I'm going to move log file from E drive to EM drive. So first we need to check, we need to collect logical file name and physical file name. That is the one thing. And the other prerequisites is the M drive is have capable to hold this particular log file or not. So here we have how much? Almost 2 GB. Suppose real case scenario, that may be 10 GB, that may be 1 TB, something else. So we need to check how much space available are available on the new target drive location. That thing we have to calculate, and we have to estimate how long it will take. Moving the source to target, we have to estimate that estimation downtime, we have to give approximately. That is the one thing. And also we have to provide some rollback. Why? Because we plan for to move the files to the next week to the M drive. But in the Saturday, somebody keep the M drive, or but on the same time, in the weekend, somebody do the some activity that fill the M drive, right? Suppose if we get any issues, we have to roll back, right? So that also we have to provide the rollback time period as well. So while moving this activity, we have to create a change plan. In job plan, in that we have to provide the steps, and we have to provide the steps for rollback as well. So we need to get the steps. What are the steps we are going to use for alter traditional method? Let me search it for here. There is a command like alter database data file to new location. For some syntax is there. Let me get exact syntax. I want to move the data file. Location. New location. Can I using alter command? Alter modify. So let me first I need to collect this file information. Okay. You need to keep it to some location. Prerequisites. Collect the current large scale and physical file location. Check and target new location have as a sufficient space to hold the files. Third location, third prerequisite, the new location SQL services have read and write permissions. These are the prerequisites. No steps. Run the alter commands. Run the alter commands in SQL Server. So let me take one syntax. So check the current file names and paths. They give the using this command also we can get the current file name and as well as the path. Okay, these things we have to collect from using this command, or maybe the simple command is sp_helpdb. Let me go here. What is the DB ID? I'll go for database type. And this is the logical name. And we have to be careful. We have to provide accurately this information. Sometimes what the people will do, by looking at the database name, the always logical name with the database name. But some scenario, the logical file names will be different. We have to be careful. We have to give logical file names same as database, and the physical file names we have to give same as that existing database. If you give wrong name, the database will go to suspect state. So that is the reason we have to very careful while collecting the information. Based on the output, we have to modify the alter command. So this information we have to take it, save it in the notepad, and we have to alter the command using this output. So here I'm going to move only one file, that is log file. So this using this information I'm going to alter. Let me copy files. I want to move only this one. So in the alter command, I need to give the accordingly in the parameters. Here they mention keep the database offline. So I'm not going to keep the database offline. First we will alter the commands, then we'll keep the database offline. Don't go for offline. Go for alter modify command. Step 1. Step 2. So here, what are the things you are going to modify? I'm going to modify only one location. So here, alter database. Which database you want to move it? I have to move the database name called like a. I will come here. Don't assume by looking at the logical file name and physical file name, database name will be same. We have to go for database name. You have to pick it. This is the database name. So here, which file I want to move? I decided to move the log file. So I have to give the logical file name. So I have to provide logical file name. I have to give logical file name. Then which location I have to give. So here, which location I'm going to move? M drive. Go here. Come copy here. Give here. And copy the MDF file name. Copy the MDF file which we got the physical file name. Don't give logical file name. Sometimes logical file name and physical file name will be different. Okay. So we have to give the physical file name accurately. Using the output for an above step, you have to provide. So once we get the command, run it in the database in the online state, not for offline. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to alter the command. So first step, second step. If you provide any wrong name here, the command will execute. Database will copy uh, uh, as per the our copy command. But while bringing the database online, database will go to suspect state. So we have to be careful. This drive should be existing and this logical file name same as this name and logical file name the same as physical file name. Run the alter command. So now the file was altered in the system catalog. As I mentioned, right, the system catalog will store in the master database. What is the master database? While explaining, we discussed it, right? The system catalog, user database information, user files information, right? So that is the reason we have to update the system catalog for the new location. This is the done. Third step. So here I cannot copy the database file from one location to another location when the database is online. So that is the reason I have to keep the database offline. Then we have to copy it. Here what I'm going to do, I have to check which location here. Where it is? E-data. Okay, is there E-data? E-data is there. Now I'm going to run the alter command. No, I'm going to run the database offline. That alter database name Adili Lab. Alter database name set offline. Set offline with rollback memory immediate. I mentioned that we have to keep with rollback immediate. Otherwise, it will wait for to complete the transaction. Then only database will go to offline. Let me keep it here to master to close the all the session.
Database name.
Database name. Looks like database currently using. Okay. Okay. Database went to offline. So come here, refresh. Database offline. Now come to the fourth step. Move the files. Move the files from old location to new location. Okay. So from here, from down starts. location to. So the old location, e data, new location. Just copy it. Don't cut it. Copy. Come to the. You have to give the exact alter command, the location. If you give wrong place, database will go to suspend. So you have to estimate this time, how long it will take. These things we have to provide the downtime. So I'm copying here. Let it complete. So here M drive should have sufficient permission. Otherwise, database will come to the not online, but we'll see. Having or not. So once the copy is completed, fifth step. Database. Online. Database came online. Okay. Then sixth step. Verify the file locations. Okay. So if you see Adilog, go to the M drive. Previously, it is a new location, but now it is new location, right? So this is the one approach, traditional method. Okay. The traditional method, alter command. But if you go for traditional method, we have to be careful for the logical file name and physical file name. We have to exactly in the alter command. If we give wrong, database will go to suspect. Oh, so we can try for that scenario. Okay. Let me go here. Suppose now the same steps I'm going to for another test database. We'll see if I give the wrong name, what will happen. Okay. So this time I'm going for small database called like a DB1. Okay. DB1. I'm going to execute. This is the location we got. So I want to move any drive, any file. Let me try to move the so what I'm going to do, not this one, I will give the different names. Here, logical file name, physical file names are same name. So we don't get the exact idea. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new database like prod, but I'm going to give prod Adi. I'm going to give prod dot mdf prod dot ldf. Okay. Let me go for prod. Let me export here. Here, if you observe, the logical file names and physical file names are different. So some people, what they will do, they will give same as a logical file in the physical files. So we can, in this scenario, I want to move log file to the new location. Okay, same here. What I'm going to do? I'm going to give the logical file names prod adi like this one, but the physical file name like what I have given prod. So why? Because our assumption is like the LDF file name came like a same database name. So I given the wrong name. Let me try to execute. Oh, what is it? Mod file does not exist. It's not taking. Okay. The good thing it is not taking. From that, what you previously we used to get the error, it will take. Okay. Now what I'm going to do? Prod dot some. Oh, here I have to give the sorry. I have to give the database name called like a prod. Okay. I'm going to execute. Now previously we got the error like this file names does not existing on the I have given different name, right? Different database. That's the reason. Let me execute here. The logical file name I have given the same as, but physical file name I have given like a what is this one? Prod. Okay, one okay. Prod adi. So I have given like the physical file name I have given as the same as a logical file name. Adi underscore log. Let me execute. Alter command is executed. Now we have to go for prod offline. Execute. So here given the wrong also it is taken. Now we can move the database files from one location to another location. Which location I have to copy? TSQL and TSQL in drive, which I given. Copy this one. LDF LDF, this one LDF. Go for here, properties, LDF. Come here, copy the file, come to the new drive, M drive. I'm pasting here. I did not keep the database offline. Offline. Come here. Raw database offline, and I copied the files. Now, once the database is offline, I move the file location. I'm trying to bring the database online. Now database won't come online because that file is different. From here, here, the database ELF may not correct. Okay. So if you click here, we can see database pending recovery or maybe suspect. See, recovery pending. Database recovery pending. Why? Because we altered the system catalog. That in the system catalog, physical file, logical file name is correct, but physical file name we did not give properly. That means database trying for the actual system catalog which is in the previously, but we have updated in the wrong file name. That scenario, database will go to recovery pending. This is the confusion, right? So that is the reason we have to be very careful. We have to make sure we have to give the files accordingly. it is recovery pending. But if you go for exact state, database will go to suspect state. Select star. This is that. Databases state not equal to 0. If you run it, you can see suspect. Recovery pending. But if you go here, select database property X, single quotes, database name, comma, status, PROAD, comma, single quotes, status. If you run it, see database went to suspect state. So we can discuss about suspect state tomorrow. How can you recover? Okay. So now in this scenario, how to resolve it? Okay. How to resolve? Because we have given the wrong file name. So if you see what there are, okay, try to bring the online. It is telling prod adi log dot lf may be incorrect. So we have given the wrong. So we already, so that is the reason you should not close the sessions. So we have to look for the command set. What you type, this is not incorrect. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the what exactly we have. So now if you try to alter command also, it won't take. So if you suppose I want to recorrect, I want to recorrect the catalog, but it won't take. Why? Because the system went to suspect state. But so you notice you given the wrong name and you put the database offline, then gone. It won't come. So what you noticed, you gave the wrong command, you altered, you kept the database offline, and you copied the files. You tried to ping the database online, database not coming online. So you notice you gave the wrong command, you're going to correct it. We'll see what will happen. So I'm going to give. Try to update. It won't take because database in suspect state. Oh, suspect state is alter. Then nice. Times add to the key direct icon key. Refresh. Oh, it's came online. But in the last time, what was happened? We have given the wrong name. Okay. Database went to suspect state. If you try to, just now we tried, we given the wrong command, that was taken. Sometimes it won't take the alter command. Why? Because database is a suspect. If database is suspect, what will happen? It won't take the command thread. But the thing is like here, it is going to update the system catalog. So try to run it. If it comes, good. If it is not executing, what we can do? Come to here, just modify the file name here. Previously, we can see here like a underscore log. We have to modify the command accordingly here. Or else we have to go into rename here. Then only it will come. So this is the alter procedure. Very risky if you have giving the wrong name. So this is the method to move the alter procedure to move the database files one location to another location. This is the traditional method, but sometimes we are going to use this method, and generally now what I'm regularly use detach and attach method. So I'm going to stop this recording. I will start one more recording for detached procedure. So let me recap before stopping the record. What is the procedure? Moving the commands, moving the database from one location to another location. The procedure is like create the change window for moving the files one location to another location to provide the estimated time from keeping the database from online to offline, and moving the files from copying one location to another location, and bringing the database online. So here, if you provide only the downtime from copying the files, but the thing is like we have facing the problem to bringing the database online. So that is the reason we have to give some buffer time, not exactly copying the files one location to another location. How can you estimate? Because that estimation we have to provide based upon the server specifications. Suppose my database having 100 GB, but that is sitting into the 4 cores with 8 GB. While copying the files, it will take longer time. The other thing is like the copying drives having very less IVAPs. Then what will happen? Copying the files, it will take longer time. So based upon the system resource, irrespective of the CPU and memory and disk IVAPs, and you have to provide the downtime. Those things we have to do it, and this activity we need to coordinate with the application team. Why? Because once we perform the activity, we have to inform the application team everything is as expected or not. Once the database comes online, everything will be fine, but we have to make sure from the application standard they have to validate as well. The steps are here. After creating the change plan, in the change window, what we need to do? Collect the physical file name, run the alter commands, which we are going to move the files, then bring the database offline and move the files from old location to new location. And once the copies is done, bring the database online and check again the new locations. Okay, new location. Then give it to the application team to verify. Let me stop recording and you can ask the questions. Stop recording. So here, one more. The disk migration, I will give one more time clearly, but this is for moving the files one location to another location. Just we completed alter system catalog. Okay. For this location, entire E drive, no need to go for alter command. Okay. Let me stop recording.